Hi everyone, this is Anna-Karin from Layers of Ink, and I just wanted to show you a quick technique for how you can distress ephemera pieces using watercolor paint. And I made this Valentine's Day card for the Simon Says Stamp Monday challenge using one of these panels that I distressed. I had some leftover brown watercolor paint from another project, and I just happened to spot these photo booth images by Tim Holtz on my desk, and I just thought I'd try out something, and I really liked the result because it gives a great distressed look to the photos. It also works really well on the found relative cards, which is what I used here. I think this one is from the occasions found relatives. You can try it on other ephemera pieces as well. I think it will work the best on papers that have a slightly glossy surface, like these. So all you need is some ephemera, watercolor paint. I'm going to use the raw umber and a little bit of ultramarine. You need a sanding block and an edge distresser. That's it. So I'm just going to show you one of these found relatives, and these cards have a glossy coating on them. So what I'll do first is to sand off some of that glossiness. I'm kind of going a little in all directions here. And you want to be quite heavy-handed with the sanding. I'm not sanding that much over his face, because I want that to be nice and visible. And there, and then I'm also going to bend and fold the paper slightly to just give it that old look. And because the watercolor paint is going to get stuck on these folds. There we go. So I prepared some raw umber, and the little bit raw umber mixed with a little French ultramarine to create a dark grey. And you want your paint mixes to be quite thick for the technique to work nicely. And then you just paint over the image. Doesn't look like much at this stage. It will look cool later on. I'm adding the darker color now. I'm actually dropping in some ultramarine directly into the brown too. Okay, so now I'm going to put this aside to dry. Well, now the watercolor paint has largely dried, but because this is watercolor paint, it still reacts with water. So what I'm going to do is that I'm using a slightly moist cloth and I'm wiping off most of the paint. Depending on how much water you have on your paper towel, you'll wipe off more or less of the watercolor paint. This one is actually a tad too wet. You just continue wiping. And I don't know if you can see it on the video, but the paint kind of gets stuck in those grooves from the sanding. Leave more or less of the paint, it depends on the look that you want. Sometimes I leave it for a bit and come back to it later to see if I want to remove some more paint. So something like that maybe. I have a few small photo booth images that I did here. But you can see it's got a similar effect. I really like this look. And then finally, you can distress the edges with an edge distresser. And once that is done, I'm going back in with that dark gray shade that I mixed, and I'm just adding that to those distressed edges. It'll get stuck nicely to that white edge. You could also dip it into the paint. And if you find that you remove too much paint from your image, you can just add on more and repeat the process. I'm putting a link below for how I finished this this card. I added some heat embossing to the photo as well as some rub-ons. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this quick little distress tutorial with watercolor paint, and I'll see you soon again. Happy crafting! Bye!